I'm Dustin,
Hi, and I'm Naomi.
and we are Irie to Aurora. This is our van, Irie.
Irie means a state of feeling great. I'm originally from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean, and there it's patois, and it means everything is all right. So everything is always all right, no matter how hard it may seem, how challenging life is, things always work out. So that's why we chose Irie.
So when we chose to buy a van and move into a van, we gave ourselves 1 year. We were going to travel from New Orleans to Alaska to see the Aurora Borealis, and then we'd go back to our 9-to-5 lives. About 6 months into life on the road, we realized that a year wasn't long enough, and we've been on the road 3 years now, and we see no end in sight.
So this is our fridge. It's a freezer-fridge combination. It's an angle, and we use it mostly for a fridge. And this is our spice rack. It's magnetic. It's 4-ounce tins, and we put some magnets in it so it sticks on the fridge, and that saved us a lot of our pantry. The fridge is the original fridge that came with the van. The previous owner put it in here. It's worked adequately, but I would like something bigger. The inside of the fridge, it's like just one section, like one basket, so everything just piles on each other, and I'm always worried about cross-contamination. So for me, if I have to, which we are going to purchase another fridge, I want something with separators, and that's what I recommend. But other than that, it's worked for us, since, and yeah, it draws a lot more power than we would like. Yeah, so we would want something more energy efficient. We also use the fridge as a cutting board as well. Sometimes it's a stool. We take it out, we can unscrew it, and we take it out when we are spending extended time in a place. So yeah, it doubles as a seat as well. This is the kitchen. We have a double burner stove. Here it's propane, and this works pretty well. I mean, it's tiny, but we cook one-pot meals here, and we have a sink. And we took the original tap out, which was a foot pump, and we put in this Westy swivel tap. If I had to choose again, I would go for the foot pump because this wastes a lot of water. So now we use a basin to catch water. So we're more conscientious of that. So our water situation, let me move all the things. We have in here our water tank in this cubby, so we take everything out and we're able to open up this area, and we have our tank. That's how we fill our water. It's 12 gallons, and it's not nearly enough water. It'll last maybe 4 or 5 days, depending on how much of it we use. So we try to make it last a week, so we have to be really conscious of how we use our water, like washing dishes and pots and pans and ourselves. So that's that's the water that we use for washing up in the van. The sink is too small. As you can see, this is our where we store our pots and pans, and I have big cast iron pots that I use, and it can't fit in the sink, so we usually have to take a collapsible wash basin, collect some water, and wash our dishes outside, which helps us to save water. But yeah, if I can go bigger, I would. So this is our drawer where we keep our spoons and kitchen utensils. It's a very small drawer, so we can't really fit too much in there. So we have just what we need: 2 forks, 2 spoons, 2 knives. And this is our pantry where we keep our dried goods. We've been going plastic free and pursuing a zero waste lifestyle for approximately a year now. So we shop in bulk, and we store everything in jars. We buy our oils in bulk. So it's all jars in here, and it's been really great pursuing a zero waste lifestyle. And we've been able to maximize our space in our pantry because we don't have extra packaging and things like that. So that's worked out really well for us with just having one pantry. Having this much glass hasn't really been a problem because it's packed really tight, as you can see. So every now and then we'll get a little banging, but we haven't had any breaking or anything like that. So the pantry works out really well. Yeah, so this is just a little basket that we store our cooking utensils. Originally, we had hooks on the store And we hung the spoons here, but that banged around a lot and we got a lot of questions about it. So we decided, okay, let's try something different. So we got this basket. Dustin got this and we've been using it for a couple months now, and I like this better. You know, we're going to bolt it in here, so we haven't had any problems with it. So yeah, I like this. We're going to keep that. And this fruit basket, originally we just had a little hook. And when we go around like steep curves or bumpy roads, it would bang around the fruit and fall over. So we just like bolted a hook in here and we screwed the O-ring into it. So yeah, this works really fine. Sometimes it bangs around and it can bruise the fruit, so we just put like our citrus in here and stuff like that. But yeah, this works really well. I really like it. Yeah, I love the aesthetics of it and I love looking at my fruit. And we have we actually have another little pantry. This is our desk. It's also our office, FYI. Yeah, so we have some more storage here. These are all our beeswax wraps. We take it grocery shopping with us, so we buy a lot of bulk in this, like cheese and meats. Yeah, so this is also another storage for dry beans and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a deeper storage unit. We cook every single day, every meal. Like we go out to eat maybe once a month. It's very sporadic. It depends on like where we are and how fast we're traveling, how tired we are, but we try our best to cook 9 out of 10 meals. Yeah, so this is our desk, our office. In the day, it turns from bedroom to office. And yeah, we actually really like this desk. Sometimes Dustin and I work side by side here. We can both fit pretty well. Sometimes one person would sit up front, the front seat swivels, so that turns into a desk. We have a lap desk and one of us would sit there depending on if we need room. But most of the time, if the weather is good, we set up our office outside because we have a nice outdoor setup as well. And I like the desk. I love the swivel desk. Sometimes it can get in the way if we're trying to get into the closet, which is here. But for the most part, yeah, it works. It works for us. This is the closet. It was originally, it had a little bar where you can hang clothes, but we took that out and we put some shelves in so we can use the packing cubes, which keeps everything organized. Like I have my own, Dustin has his own. So that works for us. And at the bottom, we have, a little storage area where we put like blankets, some blankets, and mostly shoes. Yeah, so that works. And I have a little mirror, which I barely even use, but it's nice to have. We have a light bar across the top over the stove. This is LED, a dimmable LED, and that it works really, really well. Like it really helps with the aesthetics in the van at night. We can dim it if we just want to like have some low light, and when we're working at night or even cooking, which mostly we use it for like when we're cooking dinner. So yeah, this really helps. I like the dimmable light. Our little bookshelf, like Dustin built this. Well, actually no, I built this. I forgot. Yeah, I built this. It works well, but I think that we're gonna make it a little wider. So we're going to extend it. We're going to take these out and get like a bigger piece right here and extend it so we can fit more books. I think that we actually have the room for that. So yeah, if I had to redo this, I would make it a little longer. We put the floors in. It's bamboo. Yeah, Dustin and I put this in like about 2 years ago. Helps keep it clean. I love the color. I love it, the feel. It's easy. Before we put these floors in, we had like the van came with some foam floors. It was really gross. Yeah, I don't recommend that at all. I recommend getting some nice wood floors. Yeah, and I love the bamboo as well. So this is the bedroom. This is a Z bed. So I'm gonna show you how it comes out. So at night, we just pull it out like this, and it opens up into a bed, and that's our blankets and pillows. We set it all up, and we're ready to sleep. Yeah, right when it folds down, we're ready to go. Yeah. And we a lot of the stuff up here we put down here because it's a pop top, so we have to take it down. So when we are parked, we take everything from the bottom, which is not much, like camera equipment, a little storage box for some produce, and we just put everything up there so we don't have to keep switching back and forth. Yeah. It took a little adjustment to get used to the bed, but we're used to it now. It works fine for me. I mean, I can always use a bigger bed, but hey, van life. So we have, this is our headbanger. This was originally, there was an AC unit in here, and we went to a gathering and we saw someone with a Westy that used it as storage, and we were wondering like, okay, wait, we have an AC unit up there. So we decided to just pull it all out, and it created some really good storage space. So we have like toiletries, things like that up here, things that we don't use all the time, but we need. So that's what we use this headbanger for, and we built this little door for it. Yeah, so that works for us. And we have a closet back here, which we use mostly for like books. And we have a few like water filter, things like that back here. So we use this just for hats and gloves, things like that. Yeah, just, it's a catch-all. Basically, we have our belts, hats, little towels. Yeah, headlamp. Yeah, this came with the van and we figured we'll just keep it. It works, yeah. So we also have storage under the seat, which we use as another closet. This is mostly my clothes. We have in packing cubes. We also have a Propex heater underneath and our Renogy battery. So up here is also a bed, but we don't really like sleeping up here. It's not very comfortable. It feels really cramped. So we just use it as storage. So everything we take out from the bottom when we're parked, we just put it all up here. Like this crate, we store extra produce when we're going off grid for an extended period of time, like a long week out in like public lands or something. We store like extra produce here. I make fermented goods in the van, so this is my turmeric kraut. Yeah, and all the other things like our camera bag, our computers, things like that, we just store it up here and it stays here when we're parked. We've gotten used to popping the top. We have like some storage on the top, so it's a little heavy, but we put shocks on both sides, so it helps. Yeah, it's not too bad popping it. We got used to it.
So now I'll jump into a little more of the technical side of our van life. Touched on the fridge. This fridge operates off of 110 or 12 volts. Being that we are in the van, it's easier to just hook it up as 12 volts. So we run it off of 12 volts. It's wired in. And we have most of our electronics, our electrical setup for our auxiliary power is mounted on the bulkhead behind the driver's seat. And we also use this little space for storage. So we have our inverter, an 800 watt inverter. It's not too big, but it's enough to charge our computers, to charge our laptop. We also have a neutral bullet blender, which Naomi loves to use to make smoothies. So this is enough to power all of that. Keeps us going with any of our 110 household accessories. Yeah, we stay with 12 volts on the fridge, even though it's an older fridge and it pulls more power than we would like. I feel like we have a little bit of vampire power that we're working out, but 3 years on the road, it's been a constant work in progress. We're still learning, still improving. We also have our Renogy solar charge controller mounted on the bulkhead as well. And we have a fuse block back here that everything's powered into. So from our solar charge controller, our wiring runs behind the cabinet to the bench seat where we keep our auxiliary battery. And we have a 200 amp hour deep cycle AGM battery. Found that 200 amp hours seems to be plenty to keep us going. We have 300 watts of solar on the roof keeping that charged. And like I said, we have a little bit of vampire power we're trying to figure out. So it's draining lower than I'd like. When we don't have sun, we got a little voltmeter here that keeps us up to date on where our solar's at. So we try not to let it get too close to 12. We found this little gadget on Amazon. Pretty simple, and we just drilled in and wired it in ourselves. It's got a little on-off switch, so if we don't like the light it gives off, we can just flip it off. And it gives us a little 12 volt plug. We have a little auxiliary fan, a little 12 volt fan we use when it gets too hot that we can plug in right there. And dual ports to charge our cell phone. And this is hooked directly up to the 12 volt auxiliary power. And then we have a little 110 outlet, GFI outlet below it, which only operates when we're plugged into shore power, which we rarely do. So under the seat, we also have a Propex propane furnace, which just blows heat right out through this little porthole and is wired right up to the thermostat right here. and it works pretty well. We don't spend too much time in cold climates, so if the temperature drops below like 50, 60, we can use the heater to take the edge off. If it gets below like 40, 30s, a little too cold for our liking, and we tend to go south. One of the things we added, which is crucial because we work remotely, we like to be off-grid, and we also need reliable service. So we added a cell phone booster, a WeBoost cell phone booster, that helps us to find service further away from cities and towns. Find that the WeBoost works pretty well. It doesn't make something out of nothing. You can't go from no service to LTE, but it'll take it quickly from 1 bar of service to 3 or 4. So it can make a weak signal turn into something usable. And we, as far as remote work, we have a sustainability consulting company where we provide sustainable consulting services for businesses, homes, van life, tiny living, and that requires us to spend a good bit of time online. And we're also working with the Van Life app as sustainability and public benefit directors. So we spend a lot of our time online. That is the one thing that keeps us tethered to kind of being on grid. But it's really beneficial because it's freeing that we can do that remotely from anywhere as long as we have cell phone service. So now that we've talked about what's inside the van, we can jump outside and talk about what we have on the outside. All right, so now we're at the rear of the van, and we'll show you what we got back here. So we mentioned our solar. We have 200 watts mounted on the roof. There's not a lot of real estate on top of our roof because we have the cargo box, we have a surfboard and a shower. So we have 100 watts on top of the cargo box and 100 watts in the cargo area. So we have one extra panel that we can take down and move around and chase the sun as it changes throughout the day when we're parked. Behind this, we added a steel bumper which we built ourselves. My brother-in-law helped. He's a pretty good welder. So we built a steel bumper and a swing away arm mounted on it with a toolbox. So I can keep all my tools. Driving a 35-year-old van, especially a Westy, we do have some breakdowns, so it's important to be able to get off the side of the road. So keep some tools in here. Not the most organized at the moment, but that's all part of van life. And it also allows us a platform to store extra water, fuel when we're going to be going long distances. And one really fun part that we've added recently, we've been doing a lot of we've been transitioning to a zero waste lifestyle and trying to minimize our waste as much as we can and minimize what we send to the landfill, which first means, of course, reducing our waste, reusing everything we can, but then the last step is recycling and composting. So a lot of people, when they have a spare tire on the back of the van, you'll see on a lot of Westies, the trasheroo, the bag that hangs on the back. That didn't work for us because we don't have the spare tire and it's too big. So we went to a military surplus store and we found this Army backpack duffel bag. Nice canvas duffel bag. So we've just attached it to the side, and inside we have space to store our trash, our recycling. We have a separate dry bag for our recycling, and for our compost we store our food scraps. Because we really don't like to send food scraps to the landfill, because when that breaks down it releases awful methane gas. So we feel like we're taking nutrients from the earth, it's best to give it back in any way we can. So we keep our food scraps, and sometimes we have to ride around with them for quite a while, weeks at a time, before we can find a commercial composting facility. So we keep it in a mesh bag or in a burlap sack and hang it outside in the sun to dry, and that allows us to drive around longer when we need to. And we keep all of that separated in here, our trash, our recycling, and our food scraps. All right, so we've also added some things on top. Of course, the cargo box, which is absolutely essential. We keep all of our outdoor gear, our hiking gear. We do a lot of backpacking and camping. Love to be in the backcountry. So we store all our outdoor gear in the cargo box up top, which has been a real game changer space-wise. We also added a solar shower, which we built this. Actually, my dad helped us build this because he's excellent with plumbing. It's kind of a simple mechanism, just a 4-inch PVC pipe, cap on the end, and we have a water hose we'll hook up to it with a spray nozzle on it so we can take showers outside. It works with the sun, of course. It catches sunlight, heats up the water, If it's still too cold, we can just boil a pot of water, dump it in it, that warms it up to make it usable. We can even put an air compressor on it and pressurize it if we want, or we can use it just gravity fed. And it's nice to get, it holds about 5 or 6 gallons of water, and it's nice if we're off grid for a while, we can shower outside. I like showering outside anyway. Prefer that to showering inside most of the time. So it's really helpful, keeps us clean. We don't shower every day, as anyone living on the road knows, but when we need to, it's good to have that.
Okay, so this is our patio / outdoor office, and we like to spend as much time out here as possible, especially when the weather is nice, and that's when we usually would sit out here and do our work. Our office is gigantic and beautiful, so yeah, we love doing work out here. Yeah, we added an awning.
Yeah, one of the simplest additions we've made that's made the biggest difference has been this awning. And it's essentially, it extends our living room by 64 square feet. And yeah, it allows us to be outside the van when the weather's nice without being in the sun, and it's really been a game changer as far as, you know, giving us shade when we need it. Even when it's a little bit rainy, we still don't have to be just stuck inside the van. We can have the awning out, we can get outside. It takes a few minutes to set up, a few minutes to put away. So it's one of the best additions we've made to the van.
So this is how we drink water. We don't drink water out of our tank in the van because the tank is really old, and we're always worried about contamination with the old plastic container in there. So we just, we use this 5-gallon water jug, and we can refill it at refilling stations with filtered water, or we can exchange it for a new one. Like, we use it for maybe a month and then we switch it out, because sometimes we leave it sitting out in the sun, we forget. So we are always worried about like toxins leaching in the water, and we added this just simple little pump that we got at Lowe's. So yeah, this is how we drink water. And we just store it right here in the van. We hook it up with a little bungee cord, and that works for us. And it's a Hydro Flask backpack cooler. Yeah, it's new, yeah. Yeah, that worked when we were down in Baja, and we spent, you know, a few days out on the beach, just hanging out, carry our beer, our water.
The captain's chair. So driving the Westy took a little bit of getting used to. When I first started driving it, of course being used to driving just passenger vehicles, driving this was, initially it felt like driving a bus, which I'm sitting right above the front tires, and we have, of course, no hood, no front end, so I can see right out over the edge. So one benefit is it has an incredible turning radius, but of course everything's right in front, so that took a little bit of getting used to, but now I love driving it. It's a lot of fun. It's a standard, which I prefer anyway. We get 15 to 17 miles per gallon, so it's not too bad compared to most vehicles. The Westy's it's short, it's a shorter wheelbase than most vans you'll find on the road, so we can pretty much park anywhere. We can park in a regular parking spot at the grocery store, which is really nice. We sacrifice size for living space, but we do have the benefit of being able to get places that a lot of bigger vehicles can't. We do a lot of off-road. We go up mountain passes. Even though she's just a 2-wheel drive, she gets places that Jeep Wranglers are passing us with the drivers looking at us like we're crazy. So we push her a little hard, but that also lends to a few problems here and there. We've had some breakdowns. We've had our share of breakdowns, so we've learned to really tune in to what she's telling us. We try not to drive more than 3 or 4 hours a day. We listen when any funny noises come up, any funny smells, all the things that could be even a sign that something's going wrong. So it causes us to be really in tune with the vehicle. I say she because it seems like a member of our family, feels like a member of our family. So really, she's really special to us. I feel like we've gotten to know her very well. She tells us when something's wrong. And we both take turns driving. I probably do a little more of the driving, but Naomi definitely chips in and does her share. She didn't know how to drive a standard when we moved into the van, so she learned on the road how to drive a stick shift, and now she drives it like a pro. Even down in Baja, rough off-road passes, she still has no problem being in the driver's seat. So
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for visiting our van, Irie. Look at this awesome sketch that we got at the Van Life app gathering from our friend Drawn there. It's awesome. If you want to sketch, you should hit him up.
we are Dustin and Naomi, Irie to Aurora. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Irie to Aurora. Links will be below. But we are also sustainability consultants, cacti and coconuts.green. And we are here at the Van Life app gathering. We are directors of public benefit and sustainability for the Van Life app. Super excited about this new app. If you haven't got it yet, go download it, add locations, join the community. It's really something special.
And give us your feedback. We'd love to hear what you think.